So, you're looking to get the best in slot items in Realm, and you're not quite sure what items to grind and what are the best items currently. In this video, I'll explain to you all of this, but for staff classes. Now, timestamps below, we're firstly going to look at best in slot items for each of the classes. Then, we're going to move on to how to obtain each item and get them in their divine rarity. And lastly, explaining item pairing. Now, before I kick this video off, please follow my Twitch. I'm live almost every day, and join my Discord. You'll get a notification when I go live. And if you just want to hang around, need some advice, there's loads of really good Realm players that are always willing to help you. Comment down below what video you'd like to see me do next. Now, further ado, let's take a look at all the best in slot items for each of the staff classes. So to kick things off, we're going to start with the weapons you're going to use on all your staff classes. Now, I've pinned them down to 2. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but after using Umi and Joya's DPS calculators, the only 2 staffs you should be using is Cult Staff and Vigor. Now, Cult Staff is dropped by Malice in the Cultist hideout, and Vigor is an item you have to craft. So first, you need to go into a magic woods, kill the boss, and hope you get a spirit staff. And then, you need to go into a moonlight village, defeat Kitsune Umi, and obtain the concentrated soul fire. And then once you get both those items, you go into the forge, and then you craft it. So to kick things off with abilities, we're going to go for Wizard. Now there is the recurring terror spell, which is the Parasite Chambers one, and there's also Tablet, which drops from Avatar and Flying Behemoths. Now, between both of them, you should be leaning this season, if you can hit your shots, to Tablet, as it scales off dexterity. But if you can't hit your shots, or you're not cheating, the recurring terror spell is way easier to hit, scales with attack. I mean, this season's not great for attack, but overall, if you can't hit your shots with Tablet, the recurring terror spell is your best friend. So, to kick things off with Mystic for this season, Arcana from Twilight Archmage, and Cornea from Specpen. Now, Cornea is dropped from 2 bosses, Oculon and Mercian. Either one does it, but between them both, Cornea is the way. You do need a build for Cornea to be used effectively, because it's heavy on the mana. But I'll explain that later on. Now, finally, for Necromancer. Now, the Skull of Restless Souls, otherwise known as the Biomite, drops from dead church enemies. Good luck farming this one, because Deca made a ridiculous drop rate to get a slotted one, but if you can get yourself a slotted one, it's even better. And the next best in slot for Necromancer, especially for this season, is Brain Cube. Now this drops from Cogbold and Advanced Cogbold final boss. The cube is phenomenal. If you can get a nice dex build, you're going to see that damage tick go up. Only words for advice, Brain Cube can be very, very annoying to be used, but the damage is too good to be true currently. If you haven't touched it out already, I recommend get yourself one. They're not too hard to get. You can forge it. Go ham with this. Trust me on this one. So, now we're going to move on to the grind section of this video. The bread and butter of gaining that divine item you so desperately deserve and need. Now, there is no real way of telling you this, but you're going to have to get either extremely lucky, or you're going to have to start forging. Now, the ways I mainly use is using blueprints. Now, for those newer players, you obtain blueprints from the Tinkerer or the boss drop itself. Now, in the Tinkerer, there are 2 types of schematics you can use. You need 50 ancient or just regular schematics, and there's a 2-week rotation. I'll leave a link to the Rotmg where you can actually see the next rotation and the one after that. There's always 4 total rotations. Not every single Exaltation dungeon white bag has a blueprint from the Tinkerer, so some items you must get it from the dungeon. So now it's time to explain item pairing. Now, as mentioned before, Cornea requires a lot of MP to be used effectively. Now, an item pair you can use is Rags and Gemstone. And that example is just one of many other builds. Here's a screenshot of every single item in Realm currently that scales with one of the main 8 stats. Now, if you're using one of these items and you're not using its scaling, you're basically hindering it from being the beast it could potentially be. A perfect example is the Penetrating Blast spell from Thicket. By itself, it's not amazing. It will do, but there's definitely upgrades. If you use the item scaling for Thicket, it is contender for best, but it's not the best. This is a best in slot video, but I'm just trying to help the little guys that can't do all of the endgame content. For those that can't do your shatters, your O3s, check out my O3 guide. Anywho, thank you so much for watching this video. I'd appreciate a comment. Again, if there's any other things you guys need help with, join the Discord if you have any questions. I'm live pretty much every day on Twitch, so feel free to drop in, say hi. If you want to run some dungeons with me, I'm more than happy to pop some keys. Have yourself a beautiful day.